Sweet. Oh my God, I get so excited. I am so excited to see each and every one of you. I am Joan of Angels, your host, and I'm here to introduce you to my co-host, Avon. So get everyone meet our co-host, Avon. He said, how could you have a show without me? And I'll tell you about him in a minute. But you are live with me in my Desert Heart Sanctuary, where we channel angels, we speak to spirit, we explore levels of consciousness, and now we are actually exploring explorations in consciousness with sacred plant medicines. You're going to love my guest in just a minute. And so, I'm going to take a deep breath in. That's right. So the first thing we do is, being that this is 420 and all that, is we're going to grab my bowl and we're just going to do a little prayer. Right, to start us off into the spiritual consciousness of plant medicine. So take a deep breath with me and let it all out. And before I do that, I want to encourage everyone to write down where you're from, because we are expanding a consciousness of the plant medicine ceremony circle. So when you're on this show, I want you to actually know where everyone else is from, so you can actually feel that you are in this big gathering and this big community, or small, however size we are, but connected. So today is a sense of connection with not just our consciousness, but with others who are working with these sacred plants, who have incorporated plant medicine into their life. And so, yes, continue. We want to know. We're from Palm Springs and across the border. Let's expand outward from the Palm Springs, Coachella Valley, heart of the world now, the heart vortex of the world. Perfect. And now we're going all the way out to Central Florida. Do you feel the gathering growing? Where else are you from? Guys, I am here sharing my heart with all of you. Oh my God. And so we have someone from Maui. This is beautiful. Our guest today is from Maui. All right. Keep going, guys. Yes, Pennsylvania. Oh my God. I love that state. All right. So taking a deep breath in and letting it all out. Dearest angels, Mother, Father, God, we ask right now that we be surrounded and protected with our guides, with our angels, with the departed loved ones, with the spirit animals, with the spirit guides of cannabis, with the spirit guides of plant medicine and of the jungle, and of all those beings who are joined with us today as we go into sacred community and into a sacred expanded awareness, that they be with us right now to bring us more joy, more certainty, more confidence, and more love. And so it is. Yes. All right. So here's what I have for you today. I first want to show you my sacred ceremony tool. I found this about 2 weeks ago. I was too shy to show it to you then, but it is a sacred pipe. Now, I haven't used it at all because it's so fancy. Do you see how gorgeous this is? So I've put this pipe on the altar, and when I do work, and there's a little lizard here, and when I do any work on the show on 420 Spiritual Living, I will set the pipe out as a kind of a symbol of the sacred ceremony. What do you guys think of that? I don't even think I showed it to Canella yet. Okay, so that is our sacred totem. But the most interesting thing is that I've been talking for a long time about plant medicine as being a gift from the gods, a gift from the extraterrestrial beings who have been with us and who have a whole history with mankind, humankind. And this is an extraterrestrial. His name is Avon. He is a tall white Zeta, and he's been with me since 2013, bringing me wisdom, bringing me information and guidance. And so about 5 minutes before I was hopping online, I was walking by and suddenly he caught my eye and it was like, well, how can you not have me as the co-host? So guys, meet Avon, and we're very happy that he's here with us, and I'm happy you're here. And he is our co-host. So if anyone wants to talk to him, feel free to talk to him. Okay, so that was what I wanted to share with you on that note. I also want to share with you that I am going to be speaking on Friday morning. There is a conference called the Ascension Conference. It is put on by my dear friend, Neil Gar from Portal to Ascension. And it's a 4-day free Ascension conference with some renowned, well-known figures in that Ascension angelic realm. You might know Laura Eisenhower, Brad Olson, Tricia McCannon, and Joan of Angels. Okay, so I am speaking Friday morning at 10 a.m., and I'm also going to be hosting some of the other speakers. Oh, yeah, I'm introducing Laura Eisenhower, too. So it's free 4 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'd be so honored if you showed up. So that is that's the web portal to get into that conference, and it is free or by donation. All right. And I'm with another conference, Spirituality Gone Wild. It's the SGW Cafe, and I'll be posting stuff about that, too, all weekend, and I'll be speaking on that channel too. All right, well, enough about all the things that I'm going to do. Please help us out. This is a new show, and you're probably seeing it either on Facebook or on YouTube. If you're on YouTube or Facebook, it would be a real blessing if you would, I'm looking, subscribe, like, subscribe, and share. All right, I guess that's the name of the game these days. You like, subscribe, and share. That would help. I am growing that YouTube channel. It's now up at 191 people. So I love all of you. And so it would please me to know and to see all that. All right, now I'm going to tell you a little bit about our guest before I bring her up. I adore her. When I hosted an online cannabis conference a few months ago, I was told to reach out to her, and I felt from the minute I spoke to her that I had found a soul sister not just in cannabis, but a soul sister in attitude of how to expand your consciousness into other realms, connecting with other beings from the other side, and how to use, in her case, how to conduct plant medicine ceremonies. So her mission, her name is Bre Wolfe. Her mission is, I'm going to bring her up while I kind of tell you a little bit about her. Her mission is sacred plant medicine yoga, okay? And teaching people to be, she's a conduit for light, for our earth's healing and protection. She will help uplift and heal everything because she is a channeler of these higher frequencies and these higher vibrations, which is what makes her so special. As we even feel into her energy here, it's just so strong. So this is still part of her mission statement, that we protect all species on the planet. We use ancient wisdom and tools to clear anything blocking our way. So she is an author, inspirational speaker, and spiritual teacher who has, by the way, been focused and featured on local and national TV shows. She's a news anchor and an amazing personality. But mostly you're going to love and adore her. So without saying anything else, hello, Bre.
Hi, Joan of Angels. It's so beautiful to be on your show, and I loved your open. I loved your open. It was so inspiring.
Well, you know, when you do your heart's joy,
Yeah.
there comes there's just this excitement that fills the air,
Yeah.
and I can feel your excitement and your joy with this, Bre. But
It's true.
before we get really further, can you tell us a little bit like how you came to do what you do?
Yeah. I I tried plant medicine in Colorado in the form of cannabis, and that was about 5 years ago. And I had a remarkable experience, and I knew that I was in service to the plant. And I had never felt that way before. I was a news anchor. I'm not a news anchor. I was a news anchor, and so I had a very pragmatic, almost empirical kind of existence. I knew that there were higher energies, but I didn't let myself feel them. So then when I had cannabis, it brought everything together for me. And I allowed myself to begin to really listen to my interior states. And I had been a yoga teacher for a long time, but I never felt the deep connection to my body until I had that experience of cannabis. So I wrote a book about it. I started to do my own research. This is Breathe.
Show us the
Because
book.
yeah, this is Breathe. And I wrote that book, but the reason why I wanted to write that book is I wanted to see what the heck is going on when we combine plant medicine with breathing. What the heck is going on that people would go on vision quests for thousands of years back in our history of mankind and commune with plants? And why does it have such a strong effect on me? Why does it calm my nervous system and balance the nervous system in a way that I can finally hear the deep, quiet, still, small voice? I can finally hear it and feel it. So I started studying. I wrote about what cannabis does to the brain. I then joined an international group in Boulder, Colorado, and learned how to use cannabis as a psychedelic therapy tool to help people with PTSD, trauma, anxiety, addiction. And I feel like this plant is making a reemergence. Cannabis is making a reemergence at this pivotal time in our Earth's history, because now more than ever, we need the sensibilities of all parts of ourself so that we can bring back into balance our body and the body of our mother. So I'm so called. I'm so called, and I have seen incredible physical, spiritual, emotional transformation since I started working with the plant and working with other people by using the plant.
I love that. Until I spoke to you, I had no idea, you know, that people were using cannabis for plant medicine ceremonies,
Uh-huh.
or that had such, and then as you're describing, such profound awakenings with that.
Yes. And the interesting thing is we go back in history 5,000 years ago, and the ancient yogis were using, there is proof that the ancient yogis were using plant medicine ritually. And then you look at Rastafarianism, you look at the Scythians, you look at, even there's mention of the plant in the Bible. So I discovered the history of this plant, and we have been using it as a way to commune with the gods. It's mentioned in the Yoga Sutras, it's mentioned in the Vedas. Not just mentioned, but it's talked about in how they were using it. It's much like we're using it. So when you combine intention, plant medicine, and prayer, they were saying early on, this is the way to increase the vibration and come into a higher frequency. You have all the tools. So our forefathers, our ancestors were trying to tell us this, and we are now finally remembering, rejoining. So yeah, it's an incredible honor to be working with the plant.
I appreciate that for sure. I love that. I think I love that you bring this through the use of cannabis, because to me, cannabis is a safer kind of plant,
Yeah.
or in my
It's
experience.
a different kind of plant because our body has receptors. We have the endocannabinoid system. So we literally are wired with our neural pathways, and we're wired within our body to receive this plant. But the cool, incredible thing about cannabis is it can offer the same healing experiences that you get with psilocybin, that you get with ayahuasca, that you get with MDMA, which is not plant-based. So cannabis can, and did I say, yeah, psilocybin? Cannabis can allow us to have those experiences that we would get from those plants. Some people say it mimics those other plants, but I don't say that it mimics it. I say that the healing gifts that you can find in those other plants, you can find all of those in cannabis. So yeah, it's making a reemergence, and I am in service to its healing potential. But that doesn't mean that we go around and just let's get high. That is a misuse of the sacredness of this plant. We combine, when we're using it spiritually. And so we know the plant can help us with all these physical maladies, right? It can slow the growth of cancer. It can calm the tremors of Parkinson's. It can help with glaucoma. It can also help with spiritual maladies. It can help us spiritually heal by not only calming the nervous system, but allowing us to reconnect with the energy that animates this body. So, I don't know, yeah, John,
Wow.
I wanted to make sure you were still there. I was going to lead into something else if you weren't.
I am still here. And so I love this. So you take people on these very special journeys without some of so to me, I love plant medicine, and I have shared some of my plant medicine ceremonies where I started painting, but they always have a toll on my body. And I don't like that, honestly. So how is it that it's possible to have psychoactive or psychedelic experiences only solely using cannabis? What is your what's your trick?
Well, do you ever get high, and do you ever pray, and do you ever allow something bigger than you to come through you in that heightened state of awareness?
That is my state of bliss.
Yes, like your paintings. That's just one facet of what comes through you is your ability to paint. And before we leave here, I would love to show everybody the painting that I was called to bring into my home from you. It's the spirit of Santa Maria. But so before we leave, but to answer the question, so you've allowed yourself to come to a place of softness. This, I'm talking about the experience of allowing something bigger than you to come through.
Right. Okay.
So you get out of your way by, for me, I get out of my way by practicing the very physical practice of breath. So I allow myself to get centered by coming back to my breath. And that is key. Breath, plant medicine, and intention. That's what I had left out, was breath. Breath allows me to center, and it allows me to connect with a neural pathway and an energetic pathway that allows me to access the higher, finer, subtler energies. Breath does it. And then when you combine a powerful agent that's been left for us on the planet, when you combine the powerful agent of cannabis, Santa Maria, a very real spirit, when you combine breath with Santa Maria in gratitude with an intention to experience higher frequencies, to experience divinity, merging with divinity, which means merging with the light that is at the center of who you are. When you combine those two with intention and cannabis, the ego falls asleep. The ego is an ally. The ego has been given the task of, okay, we're going to line up body, mind, and spirit. That's what yoga means. We're going to create a real connection, of real union. That's what yoga means. Cannabis is the magic elixir that allows it to all come together. It's always going to come together, but we can feel it because cannabis amplifies our ability to feel and heal, but feel in this instance our feel our body. So it's not imagined. It's not like, oh, I wish something happens. It's like,
Mhm.
as much as I feel myself tapping my shoulder,
Mhm.
we go there because we align ourselves. And breath and cannabis are magical.
So, so when you conduct your plant medicine ceremonies, like how many
Yes.
people used to be there before COVID?
Well, it's underground. It is an underground ceremony because people need the healing. People need spiritual triage.
Right. What do you mean it's an
So
underground ceremony?
I mean that I don't broadcast it.
Oh,
I don't put it. No, I broadcast. I'm telling you what I'm doing because I want people to know what's available for a healing. But I don't say, "Come sign up for this." Come sign up for this experience because cannabis is not legal unless you have a medical marijuana card in the state of Hawaii. But I am pushing that envelope because this is healing for the people. Doing
right.
these plant medicine ceremonies is like offering spiritual triage. And that came to me from spirit. What we are doing is spiritual triage. That means there is a huge assortment of different kinds of suffering. Some people are coming in with a broken heart. Others are coming in with deep, deep childhood trauma. Someone else is coming in with, you name it.
So,
So we come together, and the numbers are at 20 because that's the amount of space we have right now. But I foresee the day when we are entering numbers of hundreds, 200s. When they do experience this, there's an incredible sound system that takes us on this journey using very, very deep evocative music
mhm.
to take us to inner dimensions and outer dimensions. And we come face to face with the experiences that are ready to present themselves for us to heal. It's so powerful.
So, so,
And
so,
yeah,
so this is great. So, do you also do these ceremonies on Zoom or, online now? Can
I
people
do them one-on-one.
one on
I
one?
offer them one-on-one. I could do them on gatherings.
Mhm.
I'm feeling I'm feeling a very strong urge to not be on social media too much.
Mhm.
Not only that, that's what it is. Like I love this because it's necessary, but at the same time, my body doesn't feel good when I'm around the electronics.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
No, no, I totally get it. And now with the 5G, it's actually even harder. And I'm barely on social media. It's like I post my show
Yeah.
and then and I'm being negligent because I'm not so interested in social media anymore.
Somehow we have to
No.
be able to get the word out, but still
Mhm.
keep it at a not grassroots, but I don't know what the answer is. I will find
Right.
it. I'm following it. So if someone approached me and said, I really would like to I'd like to go on a journey, I do private journeys. I have
Okay.
not done group journeys online.
Hmm. But you'll do
And I
private
don't,
online. So if I'm
yeah,
here and I want to do it, and how
yes, absolutely.
or
It's just as effective. That's the thing. The energy travels through the airwaves and it's just as
yes,
effective.
yes, I have been on plant medicine journeys via Zoom, and shockingly enough, the best. I did have an awakening with that. I said, "Oh my God, I now know how to get psychic information. You just visualize a screen in front of you, and
Yeah.
people will show up in writing." And then I realized, of course, it had been from staring at the Zoom screen the whole night. But it is true. That is
It
how.
is absolutely true.
Yeah.
You can picture it on a screen in your mind and you can draw it.
Right. No. And so that was one of the byproducts of doing plant medicine in a setting on Zoom.
Oh my
But
God, that's so cool.
okay. It was like I felt like I had finally understood the secret to getting into another dimension besides the way. So I'll tell you what I love. I love the way the plant and my plant, although I've used other plants, my plant is cannabis because to me that's a safe plant for me. It doesn't upset my body. And I've been learning to use it for healing. So and for creativity, but I guess I like it where it just allows you to sort of drift
Yeah.
and suddenly you find new insights and awareness of things you didn't even know were on your mind
Yes.
about
Yes.
things
And
you weren't.
that drifting that you're describing, that's actually a balancing of the nervous system physically, and energetically you're balancing your sushumna, and that is the energetic, the strongest energetic line through the body. That's so when you say that it gets me into this place where I can drift, it's bringing you to this place where you are the observer and the
Mhm.
creator, and that you're able to slow things down enough that you are in touch with all parts of you. That's why it's so beautiful to do it regularly.
This is beautiful. Kathy is our backstage here. She letting us know everything where you're a graduate from. That's where you took your training, right, for the ceremony.
What was that?
That's where you took your training.
In Boulder?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Mindfulness. I don't know if you can see. Can you see the screen? That it's
Bre
got
is
words
a
on it.
graduate of,
Yeah.
yes, I'm a graduate
Okay.
of medicinal mindfulness. And thank you so much, Kathy. That's beautiful. I want to, there is a pioneer, and his name is Daniel McQueen, and he has created a center for people to work with a plant medicine as a psychedelic therapy tool. And he teaches that, and he is, his entire background was with using other kinds of psychedelics. And he found out, well, wait a minute, if psychedelics aren't legal yet, why don't I start with cannabis? So he's saying he's ahead of his time. He made working with psychedelics legal because he's using cannabis. And when other plant medicines or other medicines are legal, he will be working with those. So yeah, that's the same thing that I'll be doing. The exact same thing I'll be doing.
And those are going to be group ceremonies and or say online, and you
All
also
of
do
them.
the private. So
Yes.
when someone comes to your home or online, okay,
Yeah.
what, and I guess I don't quite know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
What would
Okay.
happen? What would we
Well, you
do?
come. Okay, this is so cool. Here's the experience. You would come into the doors, and I would my office has windows all around it, and I would begin by saging you and cleansing your aura, and I literally say prayers and affirmations as I wash the world off of you, as I wash the world off of me, and then we sit down and we draw a card, and we don't read the card all the time. We don't always read the card in the very beginning. We'll look at the card and we'll see its beauty, but then we will have our journey. And every single time the card was foretelling what the focus of the journey would be. So we work with wisdom cards, and then we lay down, and I'm there journeying with you, meaning we partake, first of all, we partake by ceremonially recognizing the seven directions. And we call in the north, the south, the east. We call in the below, our ancestors below. We call in the earth. We call in the heavens and inspiration. And then we call in our inner spirit. We go to the deep within place, and we become aware that we are responsible for our experience. Then we partake, giving thanks to cannabis sativa. Then we lay down, and then music plays. And I have crystal healing bowls that I play along with the music, sometimes without the music. And as I'm called, as the music takes you deeper, deeper through yourself and on these outer realms, you are brought to different landscapes, different levels, different dimensions. And I'm with you. I check in with you, and then while you're doing that, I partake too. So, but I partake a little less, and 25% of my attention is on me, and 75% is on you. And then our journeys start to weave together as I see what I'm seeing and you're experiencing where you're going. And I'll see, like, oh, something's coming up and I need to clear the debris that is coming up into my vision. So I have rattles ready, and I'm literally clearing the debris, and you're feeling lighter, and you're still on your journey, but our journeys are weaving together. And then towards the end of the journey, as we come back up, then you say, like, oh my God, I felt all this light coming through to my my stomach area. And I'm like, I was clearing. And you're like, and then I went to a star. And then that's when I have crystals that I've been having the crystal right over your third eye. And you're like, I was visiting the stars and light was coming through and I was being cleansed energetically and physically. And I'm like, and I was seeing a line of light coming through my crystal, coming through your third eye, through your highest chakra, through your third eye, all the way down. So we have been journeying together. It is beautiful. We allow everything to come up, so you're not alone when maybe an old memory surfaces. You're not alone. I'm right there with you.
Wow, I'm blown away. No, Bre, I'm just actually blown away because it first of all it sounds so magical. Second of all, I guess what I'm really aware of that as you've been taking the medicine and you're in actual alignment with your person, the person you're guiding. And that is so much of the intimate experience. And so would you say that people would heal some parts of their emotion? Like what kinds of emotional states do you think
it can heal?
Yeah. Like who would want to come to have this? Like, I know I want to, but I'm not saying the words right, I guess. But
no, I would want this to be palatable for someone like my brother. I would want this to be an avenue for someone in my brother who might be a little afraid to try something new and might be afraid of smoking marijuana, but knows that on some level he has not been in touch with himself for a long time. Maybe knows on some level that he's happy, but there's parts of himself that he doesn't have access to.
Mm-hmm.
This work is for someone who maybe has tried this, and they're like, well, I don't know, I still can't get out of my monkey mind, or I don't know, I'm still falling back into the same pattern, or it works. This self-help thing I did worked for a little while, but I'm still slipping back into, here I find myself doing the thing I didn't want to do again. This is once and for all. Allow yourself to feel who you are, all of it. So it can be really scary. It can be really scary, but it doesn't have to be. We have to just come to a place of allowing everything. How do we allow everything that comes up? Breathing. We breathe. That is the bridge that allows us to walk where there was fear. It's a bridge of courage. You don't have to use your mind. You just come into your breath. That's how. So anyway, this is for everybody. all kinds of emotional presentations, physical presentations. We can work from the outer body where we have a physical thing like, oh God, my shoulder's always hurting, or we can approach this healing through looking at the physical symptoms of discomfort, or we can go through and look at emotional patterns that aren't serving us, or mental projections. We start with what's presenting, what needs healing. And our intention is something as simple. We always set an intention to guide the journey. And our intention can be something as simple as listen to my body 100%. Or my intention for this journey is to heal or open to. All of those are, it's powerful work. And the gift of it is I'm not doing anything. I literally take the position of a conduit, or of I always see that opening, I don't channel, but it's a conduit, an empty conduit. That's what I do. And so Bre just gets to step back and observe as light is coming through. And there's a beautiful, beautiful quote that best describes what my role is in this offering. Can I share that with you?
Yes.
Okay.
Please.
Okay. This is my prayer that I say every single morning, along with other prayers. I am only here to be truly helpful. I am here to represent light that sent me. I do not have to worry about what to say or what to do, because light will direct me. I am content to go wherever light sends me, knowing that light is there with me also. I am being healed as I am being healed as I am teaching healing. That is, I don't have to worry about anything. And I step back, something comes through, and I am basically praying the whole time. I'm praying, thy will be done, thy will be done, thy will be done, thy will be done, thy will be done. What is it you want me to do next? Thy will be done, thy will be done, thy will be done. And it is so fun because we get to play. We get to just play.
Uh-huh. And then you allow yourself to hear the messages. So,
and I honor them. That's in the beginning. When I sit down every morning for my meditation, I go through what would be the equivalent of a 12-step program in my morning. And I only say that because I align myself with the God of my understanding. I pray to get out of my way for the day. I say the St. Francis prayer. That is that it's and I say the Lord's Prayer. And then it allows me to clear a debris of, I don't know, sometimes I might lapse into judgment of somebody. I might say like, oh, that mom's being a real brat with her child, or, oh my God, that person's so rude, or it's unconscious.
right.
But every thought we think shows up and is in our body. So every morning I clear myself by praying. Yeah. And
So,
then it doesn't work. It does its work.
it does its work.
Yeah.
You unfold. Your mission is to help other people step into this consciousness. And I hear that, clear away anything that stands in their way.
Yeah.
Connecting with their divine source.
Yes, sister. Just like you. I'm doing the same thing that you're doing.
I know, but I wish I was. So I like to take people into another consciousness, but I don't do it through that kind of ceremony. Mm-hmm. But I do it through the readings that I do, and then through helping people drop to different layers and levels. And I do like to do it in plant medicine ceremonies because that's when the veil is open.
Yes.
And others are more receptive to hearing the bigger picture or the bigger understanding. And the thing I'm hearing also is that it's a way to step out of our 3D everyday life.
Absolutely.
It's that 3D everyday life that keeps us stuck in the body, in our pain, and in our pattern.
So that was one of the things that I'm so glad you brought that up. One of the important things that I was hoping to share was, what's the value of going up into this place where you feel all this light? Like, why do we bother? Like, someone's like, okay, yeah, well, I'm fine. I've got a nice job here in my life, and I don't want to rock the boat and go into those, airy fairy little worlds. I'm fine right here, and there's nothing wrong with. What's the benefit? What's the benefit of going to a place where you allow yourself to transcend the 3D world? That's a beautiful world, because the reason that I've been told is that to allow higher vibrations to visit onto the planet, the planet is high vibe, but there's some density. That's what keeps it in the physical form. But to bring even higher vibrations to the planet, when we allow ourselves to go up there and visit the light, when we allow ourselves to clear trauma from the body and then go to places where we actually physically feel light in our body, then that brings it down. That brings it down through us. We go visit it, just like you go on vacation. We go somewhere, we come back, and we have the energy of where it was that we just were. We literally have that energy, and we bring it more onto the planet.
I get it.
So I recognize your light. Yes, you recognize my light. And then the energies that will, we are in the middle of a feminine revolution, by the way. I know we are in the middle of a feminine revolution. That doesn't mean that women are going to take over the world. That means that the feminine traits of love, of compassion. They are alive. And when we go up into these higher states, we bring all of those energies and we make them stronger here. It's here.
Right.
We're compassionate people, but we bring it in huge bucketfuls, not bucketfuls, but, you know, culverts and pipelines full of light, and we get to raise the vibration for everyone. And
Yes, absolutely.
and so the higher vibrations of love rule the planet. Yes, sister, I'm sorry.
The higher our vibrations are, two things. It makes it easier for the angelic realms and the higher dimensional beings to connect with us.
Yes.
And if we want to go through the ascension, if we want to transform, it's important for us to aspire to the higher vibrational frequency. So when I had all the painted, that's what they said. They said that I've created a portal that's very high vibration. And that's what I'm feeling and sensing about everything you do. So it's one way to connect. And the other secret to why we want to do this is that the higher your vibration, the more positive impact you will have on others and on the community around you, just what you're saying.
And here's the big thing. And we get to feel good all the time. We get to live in a place of joy and light all the time.
Yes. So like we're the higher dimensional beings in our 3D body, but if we can learn how to navigate in those ways, then happiness and joy work really well together.
And our body automatically is in unison with all of that, because we are, if our cells are holding more light, our physical cells are holding more light.
Yeah. And it does. It's been known to, the higher the light, the more of an impact that you have. And really, seriously, nowadays, it's about bringing in so much light that the dark can't even shine. You know, the dark, there is no.
That we shine light on it all. And we see it at the basis, past the illusion of separateness, we see that we all are light. Can I bring up a point about how to once we experience these momentary feelings of deep oneness and light, how we can hang on to those, not hang on as grasping, as attachment, but how we can live in that state more easily. Could I?
Yes, you can. You can.
What works for me is if I bring more light into my body physically by drinking green drinks. So I'm getting more chlorophyll. Chlorophyll contains sunshine. Cannabis has those high quantities of chlorophyll. That's why cannabis is such a healer of all different kinds of ailments, because it holds lots of sunshine. So I drink my green drinks. I drink lots of water. I drink it with lemon in it to alkaline my body, to give myself the right pH balance. And I listen to things that make me laugh. I mean, it's literally things that make me lighten up about my serious attitude, lighten up about everything that I can do, getting out in nature, hiking all the time, like being those they will either raise my vibration if it's low, or they will keep me at a higher vibration and let that get higher.
So that's practices. Where you do your work from, these practices, these foods. Yes. I like what you said about reminding us that cannabis has chlorophyll in it. Yes. It comes from the sun. And of course, it balances your own endocannabinoids. So it is actually so healthy. So do you do these plant ceremonies every day? Like in your own? No. Okay. I just want to know.
No. In fact, every single person has to listen to their own nervous system. So for me, if I do cannabis too much, I find that the opposite effect, that what I'm experiencing starts to occur. Meaning, instead of illuminating my ability to see more, I can start to become dulled. And talking about your endocannabinoid system, okay, so endocannabinoid system is like a keyhole. And cannabis is like the key, and it fits into these receptors. If my receptors are already filled from doing a journey or taking plant medicine in like this, if my receptors are already filled, and then the next day I want to do some more, I'm already filled. So there's the keyhole has a key in it. So I can't take in more of the healing benefits of cannabis until I can integrate it into my system. That's why many times less is more.
That is
So
very fascinating. Okay.
yeah.
Very, very fascinating. And I've always tried to understand why less is more, because I do better with the less is more too, even
Me
though I
too.
used to think the more, my theory used to be the more the better.
Yeah, no, I could see how, that's how we're taught,
Right?
bigger,
Right.
better, more.
Drink
No,
more, use more cannabis, and somehow you'll get out there.
yeah,
So
no, yeah.
with this intentional use, then it's more
I will
moderate.
do I'll do like a private session one time a week. I will
Mhm.
do a yoga class with cannabis, sacred plant medicine yoga class once a week. And then
That
my husband and I will, what's that?
you teach people that.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. And then I do a journey with people.
Mm-hmm.
I do that on the full moon. So that's once a month. But in between there, if I'm feeling like sometimes I need to clear my body of all things.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm saying is we each have to listen to ourselves. So sometimes
Got
I'll
it.
need to just take a break and not see a client that week, schedule that in advance. I can tell when I'm starting to get I don't know what the word is. I guess what it is we're working with higher energy. So
Mm-hmm.
when I have to be able to integrate these higher energies and get used to going to places where my body's holding higher energies. So that's why I have to spend a lot of time in nature
I get it.
to ground it,
I
to
get it.
literally ground it.
Absolutely. You have to, I think I'm hearing that you definitely practice what you're preaching, that your life is, that this is not something you're just talking about. This is your life cycle. Because, this show is about a spiritual living. How do you incorporate this into your lifestyle?
Yeah.
So that for wellness and consciousness. So
Exactly.
so I have two more questions for you. Okay. The first is, all right, can you take us to see the painting? And the reason you have to take us
Yay!
to see the painting
Okay.
is I don't want to play with the dials.
I'm so glad, brothers
I
and
want to
sisters.
tell everyone
I
about
want
the
to.
painting.
I had a reading with Joan, and Joan had the spirit of cannabis sativa, and her name is Santa Maria. Joan works with the spirit of the plant, and this is what came through her. And she has other paintings like this, but this is. Go ahead, Joan, if you want to say more here. Just talk about
Okay,
her.
so here's what happened with this painting. Do you see? And this is for everyone. You see how she's in her own chair? All right, she's in her own bodysuit, her own skin, and that is her cannabinoid transportation vehicle. So you see she's smoking, and each breath takes her more into the heavenly realms. So
Oh
it's
my
about
God.
creating your own sacred portal, your own,
Yes.
energy field, which is, I think, perfect. Okay, let us see you again. So, guys, yes. And when Bre
Okay.
saw that painting, he
That
couldn't
spoke to
believe it.
me.
Okay.
And that is what I am doing with my work. That's exactly what I'm doing with my work. So it said so much to me when I saw that, Joan. That's what's happening. And that's what we all can do. This body is an amazing spacecraft, cosmically designed to operate at this particular
Right.
biosphere called planet Earth.
Yes, and that painting.
Light is at the
Like,
center of this body. This is a spacesuit. It's
yeah,
a vehicle we call a body.
yes,
And cannabis. And what's that, sister?
in our own field. Yes.
Yes. Yes. And cannabis sativa allows us to penetrate the layers, penetrate the envelope of our skin, go to the interior states, and use that to beam to other places.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so I have one more question. Well, I guess I'll end up with two questions. You're wearing the most exquisite outfit.
Mm.
You look so shamanic.
Mm.
I would say almost native, but no, so goddess, exquisite, shamanic. I just want to be inside your studio. Tell us about what you're wearing.
Okay. As I am learning about different indigenous teachings and different ancient yogi traditions and teachings, I am being called to give myself the identifier of the third eye, the Bindu.
Mm-hmm.
And I am being drawn to protect the earth. And I was told that I have Cherokee heritage. I can't prove that. All I know is I could prove that. It's not been proven yet. But what I'm saying is my affinity, my by taking in cannabis, I
Mm-hmm.
have developed the ability to feel Mother Earth in a way that I knew when I was a child.
That's so
So
beautiful.
so all of these teachings, it was Ram Dass who said, it is not true that you should find one path. There are many paths to the same places. I am being called, my book is about yogic traditions and teachings, breathe.
Hold it up.
It's also about the earth. And I am being called to honor the ancient wisdoms from many different cultures. So I'm not taking anyone on. I'm feeling basically a chord being struck within me. And yeah, and so this is how I'm honoring it. This is how I also I wear a chic. I wear a lot of white because I'm called to honor the chic teachings as well. So it's fascinating. I'm saying yes instead of saying, well, who are you? What are you? I am these things. I am this, and I'm saying yes to it.
Mm-hmm.
Does my family understand it?
Okay.
They think they love me and they think I'm cute.
And your
They
husband?
do. I've just allowed myself to finally listen to myself, and they actually totally get it. I have such an amazing family. They
You
actually
know,
totally get it.
I can feel that. You have such your resonance. You're beautiful inside and out, and you only radiate purity. And I can see the Cherokee in you, but I can see the goddess in you and the ancient ones in you, and this whole thing of bringing through the sacred medicine and appreciation for all things, all life, all things.
Yeah.
And you're just such a love. It's just such an honor to share this
How are you?
teachings with you. The work that you do. So, is there any last things? Tell people how they can find you.
On my website, it's brewolfe.com, and that's BRE, just one E, WOLFE.com. And she does amazing readings. She dials in on your energy, and she did that for me when I first met her. That was our first experience together, was a reading. And yeah, you knew exactly what I was about, where I should go from here, how I could call in, these protectors and angels. It was valuable. Like, regularly would like to do this with you.
But we're going to work it out, because there are things you're doing I could regularly do with you too.
Yeah,
I
right on.
so appreciate, I think, understanding that this is a valid form of psychedelic experience through cannabis, that one doesn't have to, that for some people, this is what they need. This is the balance. And I just love that it's taking them to a connection with other beings. I know that with cannabis, the spirit guides of cannabis are very talkative. They want us to know them. They want us to experience a bigger, unlimited self.
Yeah.
So, guys, and you're just so generous in your thoughts too. So, guys, you now know Bre, and Bre is going to be one of your favorites. We're going to have her on again. It's a new show. Bre and Yvonne.
Yvonne. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you tell everybody what Yvonne represented? Like higher terrestrial knowing through the plant, right?
Yes. So he absolutely, his consciousness is one that he does have that awareness of knowingness through the plant. And so actually, I will tell everyone, when I was on a plant medicine ceremony in July, he and I were sitting outside, and we were visited by a tall white extraterrestrial who told me he had taken a saucer taxi from behind the base that apparently they have little saucer ships. And he had come because my consciousness was in that higher vibration. And it was a plant called sassafras, and my consciousness was, and he showed up. But the reason we're sharing this, guys, is yes, you can connect with other dimensional beings, your higher self. You have a chance to see the bigger picture of your life as opposed to being stuck in it. You know, getting outside is, I like getting outside. I think it's a good way to go. Right? Yeah. So I'm looking if there's any questions for Bre. She's so loved. Okay, guys. All right. We'll talk to you later, alligator. Thank you for being with us, Bre. And
Thank you.
if you want to stay and talk with me after, that would be great too.
Okay, sister.
We're on till 5:20. All right. Thanks, Bre. Have fun.
Sister.
All right. We'll see you in the other consciousness. All right, guys. Was that not fascinating to learn? I mean, I thought psychedelic experiences were really, subject to acid or mushrooms or ayahuasca. And so when Bre told me this, I've been very interested in it. It's very moving to find out that if you use the plant cannabis for intention to have a sacred awareness, you're going to get exactly that in working with the right way. And I love that she does cannabis yoga, and that I like the description that it gets you more in touch with who you are and what you're here to do. And that is what the show is about, getting more in touch with yourself. That is the work that I do. And I want to share a little bit about that. So my job this lifetime is I'm here to inspire you and help you remember who you are and why you're here and what your special gifts are. And that's very, very important. We each come with a mission, a purpose, a little program in there that says, turn right, turn left, do this, do that. And if we pay attention to our consciousness, if we allow ourselves to talk to our higher self, if we allow ourselves to listen to our intuition or trust, just like Bre is saying, she lives in that truth every moment. The more we live in that truth and raise our vibrations, the more of service we're going to be, the happier we'll be, the more we'll be living just what we came to be, and that sense of joy and bliss. You cannot buy that. That is true happiness when you feel that from the inside out. And that is what I do. Now on Friday, and I think up above, you'll see the link to the Ascension Conference on Friday. And I'm going to talk a little bit about Ascension on that conference, but I'm going to talk about how do we set our intention to become that which we seek. So Ascension is not something that happens outside of you. It's the shifts and changes we make inside. And so we set our intention that we want to go higher. We want to step into other dimensional frequencies. Then how do we become that? What can we do besides our plant medicine and besides meditation and yoga? But what else can we do as we set our intention so that we can live in that truth, and so that we can be what I like to call an intuitive ninja, or a ninja superpower being who is living their purpose. So with your purpose, you actually came here with a toolkit of how you can live that purpose. And so that's what we're going to talk about. What's in your toolkit that you have so that you can, shift into the higher dimensions, so that you can hear the voice of the divine, so that you can know that you're doing that which you came here to do, and really walk that path of spirit. And so that is my sacred work. And it's so interesting. And I feel so honored to be able to do that with you. So the card that came up, and it's a funny card, it came up the other night too in a reading. This is from the Sacred Traveler deck. And I thought since we had Bre on, we're going to talk Sacred Travelers, the journey, life's journey. And the card is the Fool. It's the initial card of most of the tarot decks is the Fool. And what is the Fool? The Fool is standing there in the original tarot, stepping at the edge of the cliff and about to walk off, trusting, and this is what it's crazy, trusting that they're not going to fall down. Okay, trusting that source has you, spirit has you, God has you in his hands, that where you're going and where you're seeing is that which is unfolding for you. Now, if that makes sense, that is. And that's what we pulled that card. So the message of the week this week is be like the fool. Trust that you're following those voices of the divine, that which you're hearing is that which you're being guided to do. Ask for help and support. Reach out to Bre. Her work is phenomenal. Or reach out to me or to anyone you feel called to help you clear away what's standing in your way. Why? We're living in challenging times. The more in tune you are with your toolkit and the gifts that you have, the more successful you will be in navigating it, but the more successful I'll be. Also, when you do your work, it helps me to do mine. When you do your work, you raise the level of the planet so that we can all raise together. You got that? All right, guys. So next week, we have an amazing guest. And Normal Being is going to be on the show. He is anything but normal. And one of the things that I was telling him, I think I'm going to have him teach me how to roll a joint because I'm 72 years old. And Lord knows I can't do that. But he's got plenty of histories. He's considered an old timer in cannabis. He does music. He does music and hemp teachings. He does the hemp fest around the country. You will adore him. He is so personable and real. So real people, real show, 420, spiritual living. Please tell your friends and please like and share and subscribe and reach out if you need help. And this is going to be like goodbye from Yvonne and Joan of Angels. Say goodbye. All right. So just a little, here we go. All right. A little inspiration before we go. I love that. It makes me so excited. So I just heard a little question from Yvonne. It was like, well, what do you think, Yvonne? You think they should all meet you in the other realms? And he says, yes. He says, explore the consciousness and he will come to you on those other realms. What do you think? All right, guys. Joan of Angels, like my page. You can find me at joanofangels.com and we will see you next week, 4:20 Pacific time on Weed Wednesday. Ciao for now.